What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Uncle Benji here. If you can't tell, I'm very excited today. This is a video that I've been meaning to put out for a while. Didn't quite know when I wanted to put it out because it's a very important album to me, a very important artist. It'll be none other than Ka and the album Grief Pedigree. This is the first time that I've made a video about Ka, but Ka's absolutely one of my favorite artists. I have pretty much his entire physical catalog, and this is where it all started for me, getting this album. But it took a while before I ended up getting this on vinyl, even though I got the vinyl right when it dropped. It didn't come out right when he put the album out, and there was a lot of buzz before this album came out, and I really want to talk about a little of that history behind not just acquiring the album, but the rollout and the buzz that Ka generated as this album came out. Anyone who follows me on Twitter knows that when I'm talking about Ka, specifically when I'm talking about this album, I'm usually at some point in time going to bring up the amazing music videos that he put out in tandem with this album, and really as a lead up to this album. When Ka started dropping these videos, not many people knew who he was. It was back in September of 2011 when he dropped the first video for this album, Cold Facts. And it was an incredible song, but it didn't immediately hit me because he has such a subtle style and he was so unique in the way that he came out and was rapping that you really had to listen to Ka. Every line was filled with crazy wordplay, and if you don't pay really close attention, you're gonna miss it. So I saw people buzzing about this video, or I remember Blockhead was an early person that was into Ka and was telling people to listen to it. Eventually, after a few listens, some of the lines started to hit me. I own the night, the heat's my receipt. That line just burrowed into my head and got me to really pay closer attention and listen to more lines throughout that song and recognize that, man, this guy's on some special stuff. And he started to make more videos, but even that first video, that first month, he was generating attention and the buzz was going up, and there was people tweeting about Ka. I remember Erykah Badu and 50 Cent were two early big accounts. I remember retweeting or tweeting his video out and telling people to tap into it. And it was really, to me, kind of unprecedented because even though he had been in a group, Natural Elements, that once I heard that, I remember hearing them on like DJ mixtapes in the early 2000s, a couple songs I'd heard of them, never heard a full album or anything like that. But it wasn't anything that was crazy impressive or blew me away. But he did have this history, and then also put out an album, Ironworks, in like 2008. But again, he dropped the Cold Facts video. It announced at the video, if you watch it at the end of it, album coming. So we knew he had an album coming, but long before we got to that album, we got several more videos. He then had a video for every beautiful song, and he really kind of shows as these videos go on how he's stepping up because he's directing these videos, he's starring in the videos, he's producing every track on this album. So everything from this album is truly handcrafted by Ka. He made all of this stuff. 2 months after that, he put out Collage, and when Collage came out, okay, this guy isn't just a great artist, I'm looking forward to this album. He's fucking incredible. Just watch that video and you can see, like, as it goes too, it ramps up with the imagery that he's giving you in the song, the pictures he's painting, and then the flow ramps up too, and it's just mesmerizing, it's transportive, it's hypnotic watching that video, and the words just unfurling, and then the way he does the video with just him coldly saying the lines and little clips of the imagery are inserted in so quickly that you can barely see them, in a really cool style video. Like, I would just watch this video over and over and over again. I mean, my ex who I was with at the time, I think she memorized this whole song and would just say the entire lyrics. We were just obsessed with this guy and ended up being able to see him live at Pitchfork Fest in Chicago, one of the only times he ever probably performed outside of New York. This started an obsession with Ka and getting all of his future albums after this. But these videos really started it before we'd ever heard an album. As I've mentioned earlier, like, Ka has just crazy wordplay, puns, double entendres, and he'll have these extended metaphors where he'll find his hook of wordplay of what he's talking about and how he's relating it, whether it's a sports relating, chess relating, like any sort of different topic, religion that he relates in, will have these metaphors that go on for 3, 4, 5 bars, and it just makes it really enthralling to listen to how he connects the different aspects of these different things and makes them relate and draws these parallels and metaphors. On Collage, towards the end of the song, he has a line about how people are grilling him, and he says he's going to leave char marks on our hearts, like using that grilling metaphor in a different way. Like, there's just so much creativity in how he's putting these bars together and how he's relating the different aspects of the things that he's drawing from to make those connections. That's, apparent throughout all of Ka's music, especially from this point forward, how intentional he is about finding these connections and metaphors in his music. Chamber came out in December, one of the more like up-tempo songs on the album. That, and I would say No Downtime, are kind of the two songs that are more traditional New York and sound. They're still not like heavy boom bap. A lot of these songs on here, Ka was having a drumless sound. Rock Marciano, kind of like we've talked about on this video channel before, on his album Marsburg, started doing some of this kind of sound, and Ka took it even further, where there's really slight drums, if any, on most of these songs. But those two songs, Chamber and No Downtime, are a little more traditional, a little more up-tempo. He took a little more time off after December, but came back and released another video for Vessel in February. This is definitely one of the best songs on the album. The metaphors are just crazy. Like, right from the start, he has a line, director in this movie, I cast iron, ride with pride like the last lion. Just really slick wordplay that he has throughout this song especially, and the imagery just goes into the video really, really well. You can see the locations that he's scouting for these videos is getting better and better and more creative, and just laying out this vision. And at this point, it was such a treat to have every month or every couple months another of these handcrafted, self-produced songs and videos from Ka that we were getting privy to. And came out with Decisions a month after that in March. And so really powerful song that adds a lot of depth to the album and shows you that Ka's not just really like a one-trick pony. And Decisions really kind of lies out a lot of the outline of growing up in a tough environment, but being a good person. And yes, this tough environment can dictate a lot of things, but you still have your own decisions that you can make. And Ka's really trying to be a voice for people to think a little bit more about how these decisions, even when you're really young, can affect your life so much, and how important decision making is for everybody, no matter where we're coming from. But it's even more important if you come from an environment where these decisions can affect you so adversely from a young age and put you down the wrong path. Summer was a video that came out April 20th. This is the first video that he dropped after the album release. So the album came out in April, and then he releases another video for Summer, which is absolutely one of my favorite songs on the album. Just really kind of painting a picture of when the weather starts to turn, people are more outside in the streets of New York, and how it can get a little more dangerous. Some of my favorite bars on the album are on this song, this passage in particular. 8 blasting goons, late afternoon, form roadblock. Started clapping, my little man was unwrapping his blow pop. Shot in the face, never got to taste the sour apple. Strays from the trays, put him down like a power tackle. Even just the one line in there, he never got to taste the sour apple living in New York. That kind of wordplay in the midst of those rhymes and that scheme and the picture he's painting, putting together. There's just so much depth in his work, so many jewels that you can pull out from listening to one line, then another line, and relating them together, and then seeing the picture that he's painting across a few different lines and how it all connects and how each line works individually and has that layer of depth and wordplay in it. It's just really special the way that Ka makes his music, and it's no surprise that he continued to just create a bigger and bigger fan base as he kept doing his thing and making music in the same sort of way, self-produced most of the time, working with the same type of producers if not, and just really crafting these bars in a way that really nobody else has ever done in the history of hip-hop. With his monotone delivery, he's not being showy with it. He's staying true to himself and making the beats around his lyrics in a way that really makes it resonate. And he saw ahead of everyone else in doing this and sticking to his own pattern and flow and style of production and really creating his own chamber. No Downtime, song I mentioned earlier as one of the more up-tempo songs, he put out later in June, continuing to put out videos. He put out Up Against Goliath in July. And this is a great example, Up Against Goliath, of how Ka uses metaphors from the Bible and other sources. He continues to expand on these type of metaphors on future albums, sometimes making it the whole theme of an album, whether a samurai or Greek mythology. He loves having these different sources to pull from to enrich his own material and help to draw those connections and metaphors and things that probably surprise him when he's writing. I'm sure that's part of the thrill of it, is finding these things, that these eureka moments when you're writing that are, found throughout Ka's work. Born King came out in August. That's the closer on this album. It's a really triumphant kind of mission statement. While it's still more down-tempo, it's a little bit more traditional, braggadocio, New York rhyming, just kind of like that mantra mission statement. Great way to close the album. And then he has one last video for Iron Age that comes out in October, completing the cipher of all of his videos. So just a little longer than a year, he ended up putting out all these videos. And Iron Age is collaboration with Rock Marcy, returning the favor for the guest verse that he had on Marsburgs. This is the one guest appearance on here with Rock Marcy. You can see in this video the chemistry that they have, the vibes and friendship that they have together. And there was a lot of talk after this that they were going to release an album together in Metal Clergy. It never ended up coming out, but they had lots of collaborations between each other on future albums, especially on Rock Marciano albums. There's a lot of Ka verses. So if you put all those together, all their collaborations, you can make your own little Metal Clergy album. But that's an incredible song, probably along with Summer and Collage. Those would probably be my three favorite songs on here. But this album is always going to be my favorite Ka album. When I first got this album, I did get it on CD before I got the vinyl. I'm pretty sure on that. I think they released these CDs before the vinyl. It could have been that they put them out at the same time and I did get them at the same time. Although a little more backstory on it, when Ka first put out vinyl for this, which again, I don't think it was right when the album came out, he put out a version of Grief Pedigree that didn't have the cover in a white jacket. And my brother actually has that version of the vinyl. I wrote about this album when it first came out. I did a review from my buddy Rob's blog. It was the first review that I did. And my brother got into it as well. I got some other people into Ka's music around that time. I was really championing it to anyone I know. And my brother ended up buying that vinyl. He was into vinyl a little bit before I was. So before I started vinyl, he put that vinyl out. My brother bought that one and still has it. And then when he put out this vinyl that had the cover and back, I ended up buying this one. So I have the CD and the vinyl for Grief Pedigree. And then I also have this amazing Grief Pedigree t-shirt. Maybe my favorite t-shirt that I have. It's a little bittersweet making this video because obviously we've lost Ka recently here within the last couple years. And it's one of the hardest losses I've ever had of a musician in my life, as how it's affected me. Like Doom would be another one, but Ka really hit harder than anyone else because he was still making incredible music. Like he just put out this music, Thief, Death to Jesus, you know, not long before he passed. And he could have, you know, given us so much more music. And it's always a little bittersweet when I listen to Ka's music or talk about him, because it feels like he was just here. And when I listen to his music to this day, and I've, you know, commented recently on Twitter, it sounds like he's talking to me and still giving me lessons. There's so much to learn from this man, such a humble, generous man that put it all out there, you know, in his lyrics and what he did as his profession as a firefighter. Truly a person, not just a musician, but a person that inspires me every day to be the best version of myself. And I'm so lucky to be able to have these pieces in my collection from Ka, one of my favorite artists of all time. And I'm so happy to be able to talk about him and make this video. And there's going to be several more Ka videos. I've been putting this one off because it's such an important album to me, and just wanted to collect my thoughts a little bit and do it at the right time. But, you know, this is Ka, Grief Pedigree. One of my favorite albums of all time. A very, very special album to me. And if you're not already tapped into Ka, you can't go wrong with any of his albums. But I think this is the best place to start. A true masterpiece. Watch all the videos. Put them on a playlist. You know, late at night, smoke one, throw those on. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to be tapped in. You're going to understand the vision of this man. And I hope the history and the backstory that I provided gives a little more context to what it was like getting into Ka, being a fan in late 2011, early 2012, and anticipating this album, then getting this album, and it over-delivering, and just having every song on here be so fabulous, and getting videos for all of them. I just cannot say enough about Ka. I could ramble on here all night about this man and his music. So please, please check out Ka, celebrate his music, share his music. There's more physical music that's online now, CDs. There's going to be more represses of vinyl coming. So shout out to Ka's family and anyone who is helping make that happen to get more of his physical music in the hands of more collectors, because in some ways it's been hard to get a hold of some of his music. I have some stories on some of the later vinyl that he released that was just at pop-ups in New York, and how through the help of some wonderful people I was able to get a hold of some of that vinyl as well. So again, let me stop now so I don't just keep going and going about Ka, the man Ka, one of my favorite artists. So that's it for today, y'all. Uncle Benji, peace out. Till next time. Bye-bye.